The Colorado Grand Canyon watershed includes land in Utah and Arizona drained by the Colorado River and its tributaries from Lake Powell and the Glen Canyon Dam to Lake Mead and the Hoover Dam. The watershed is almost wholly within the Colorado Plateau physiographic province and covers an approximate area of 23,300 square miles. The management of this watershed is particularly convoluted due to the presence of the renowned Grand Canyon National Park and the two largest reservoirs by volume in the United States, Lake Mead and Lake Powell. The Glen Canyon Dam was impounded in 1963 on Navajo Nation and BLM land upstream of the Grand Canyon National Park. The vital purpose of the dam is to store water in the impounded Lake Powell for water development projects in the upper Colorado River Basin states, and to ensure a regulated water supply to lower Colorado River Basin states to meet downstream commitments in times of drought. In addition to its function as a reservoir impoundment for water supply, the Glen Canyon Dam provides hydroelectric production, a spot for recreational activities in Lake Powell, and maintains a minimum flow at Lee's Ferry, which sustains Grand Canyon rafting tourism. The geology and structural setting of the region are important factors for their topography, hydrology, soil type, and soil distribution of the Colorado Grand Canyon watershed. The primary geologic units in the watershed are exposed due to the downcutting of the river and include sedimentary units of sandstones, siltstones, mudstones, and conglomerates, ranging in age from Middle Proterozoic to Jurassic time. At depth in the Grand Canyon, early Proterozoic metamorphic rocks are exposed and are also in contact with the Colorado River. Overall, these geologic units, when coupled with an arid environment and a high topographic relief, both the steep canyon walls and a 2,000-foot slope decline through the canyon itself, result in natural erosion. These conditions do not replenish new sediment essential for soil development to establish a foothold for aquatic life. Instead, soil development, and thus the Colorado River ecosystem in the Grand Canyon, is created and maintained by seasonal floods, which introduce sediments to the system. But what happens when the seasonal floods are held back and stored? The Glen Canyon Dam had a complex effect on the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. The large reservoir allows for the complete storage of spring snowmelt to prevent natural floods from reaching the Grand Canyon, and traps incoming fine sediments that would otherwise replenish sandbars essential for aquatic ecosystems. Tributaries downstream of the dam contribute only 1/10 of the sediment that the pre-dam river transported through the canyon. The average flood level post-dam is considerably lower, which reduces the spatial coverage for deposition and building up of sandbars. The dam also had a profound effect on the aquatic system due to the consistent release of deep, cool layers in the reservoir which do not support native fish, such as the humpback chub, that have evolved to prefer cycles of cool and warm water. This issue for the native fish was exacerbated by the introduction of non-native rainbow trout who thrive in the cooler water and are a predator to the native chub. Overall, the dam had the profound effect on the Colorado River by altering it from a river thick with sediment, prone to seasonal floods, and ranging warm and cold temperatures, to a clear, cool, less variable in temperature river, not prone to floods. A comparison of the Colorado River to the less influenced Little Colorado River tributary when it is experiencing surface water runoff events shows just how much the characteristics of the river have changed. This image shows the cool, emerald Colorado River compared to the warm and muddy Little Colorado River experiencing a runoff event, and shows how the Colorado River often appeared before the dam. One beneficial outcome of the dam worth noting was the establishment of vegetation, which serves as riparian habitat on some sandbars due to reduced flood levels that would otherwise periodically remove the vegetation. Due to growing awareness of the effects of the dam on the Colorado River environment in the Grand Canyon, an Environmental Protection Act was passed in 1992 and mandated dam releases to remediate the stream and improve the river ecology. High-flow experiments are conducted if storms bring in enough sediment input to the Colorado River just below the dam. The release then transports the sediment downstream to deposit and build sandbars. This release mimics natural high-volume floods and mass sediment transport that were once common. To date, there have been 8 high-flow experiments with each run lasting a few days. The goal of these experiments is to determine if the sandbar building exceeds the sandbar erosion periods between high-flow releases in order to increase or maintain the sandbars over several years. The high-flow releases rebuild sandbars by depositing new tributary sand at higher shoreline elevations, but also can export sand supplies downstream. Subsequent studies of the experiment have helped to provide recommendations for the management of the experiment to improve its success and synergize the dam high-flow releases to follow tributary floods that deposit larger quantities of sand into the river in the fall. This timing will allow for sands to be deposited and then transported downstream to areas in need. The full realization of these experiments is not yet fully known. Overall, taming the Colorado River with such developments as the Glen Canyon Dam has been necessary to assure water supply for several western states, but has resulted in some unforeseen outcomes to the Colorado River ecology in the Grand Canyon. Nevertheless, as is the case with many watershed management issues across the nation, where human involvement has altered the watershed dynamics and health, a sense of duty to remediate the river is strong.